Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new show and tell from me. My name is Peter, and today we'll be having a look at an Oris watch. Now, the special thing about this watch is it is a watch that commemorates the U.S. Navy's first African-American master diver by the name of Carl Bashir. Now, many of you have probably seen the 2000 the film made in the year 2000 about Carl Bashir. The name of the film is called Men of Honor, and it stars Cuba Gooding Jr. as Bashir, and and it's an awesome film. So first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about Carl Bashir. Now, Carl Maxey Bashir was born January 1931. And he unfortunately died July 25th, 2006. He was a United States Navy sailor. He was the first African American to become a U.S. Navy master diver. And along the way, he lost his leg. It had to be amputated. Anyway, so this watch commemorates Carl Bashir, the first African American master diver. So this guy's a hero. I mean, you've probably all seen the film, and being a diver myself, I can't help but, think that, well, wow, to go through the hardships that he did because of his color, and to come out the other end strong and proud and just an awesome person. He lost the bottom half of his leg during an exercise to recover a hydrogen bomb that was lost off the coast of Spain when a B-52 bomber and the tanker that was supposed to refuel it in mid-air collided. The amazing thing is he continued to dive even after he had an amputated leg. Now, I think most of you who have seen the film remember the scene where he has to prove to the board of whoever in the Navy that he can walk. And he puts on all the extremely heavy equipment and with his wooden leg walks toward the committee to prove that he could, I don't remember if it's 20 or 40 steps they want him to take. So, now this watch, I'll give you some stats on it first of all. The watch is a 42 millimeter, as opposed to the 40 millimeter case of the standard Diver 64, which this is used made. How do you say it? Which this is. Oh God, my English always fails me when I'm doing show and tells. It's unbelievable every time. Anyway, please bear with me. This you're probably familiar with the Oris 65, which is essentially this. With a bronze bezel and bronze case. All right, back to the stats. This was made in a limited 2,000-piece run. It has, as I mentioned before, a bronze unidirectional 60-minute bezel and case. It has a stainless steel case back screw down. It also has a screw down crown. It has dark blue dial with applied rose gold. Again, my English fails me. Indecises, or I can't quite read what it says there. Anyway, now it has a water resistance of 10 bar and 100 meters, and the movement is the Oris caliber 733, which is based on the Sellita SW200. Okay, first question many of you may think is if this is a Carl Bashir, a limited edition diver, why has it only got a depth rating of 100 meters? And this is on purpose because back remember it's essentially an Oris Diver 65, and Oris did this on purpose because back in 65, 100 meters depth resistance was deemed quite sufficient for a diver. There was no need for 200-meter divers, as back in 65, divers didn't go, deeper than certainly didn't go deeper than 100 meters. So when they decided to reissue the Diver 65. Oris, instead of going all mental and saying, oh, we're gonna reissue this Diver 65, but we're gonna make it depth resistant to 1,000 meters. Would that be a Diver 65 reissue? Well, it wouldn't really, would it? Not in my book, anyway. So I think Oris have done exactly the right thing here. They've been true to the vintage watch, and they've kept the vintage dive rating as 100 meters. I'm quite sure that, to be honest, I don't know the deepest depth dive that Cal Bashir did, but I think that he would have been quite pleased with this watch and with its depth rating. Now, obviously, Oris have chosen to once again send a wink towards Cal Bashir and vintage diving by making this a bronze diver. The thing about bronze is bronze doesn't rust the way other metals do. Obviously, everybody knows that silver and gold doesn't rust, but bronze doesn't rust either. What it does, it makes an incrustation of what do you call it? Well, it has a patina. It makes a patina of green on the top half of the watch, and this effectively just seals the metal in under the patina and protects the bronze. So, and that's why, all dive equipment back in the day was made of bronze helmets, bronze knives, bronze boots, all these things were made of bronze, and that's simply why. Now, to protect us, the user of these watches, they've decided very cleverly not to make the back bronze, because obviously if you wear a bronze watch on your arm and the whole thing was bronze, it would stain green and quickly ruin, miscolor your arm, and that's not awesome. So they've chosen very wisely to have the case back in stainless steel. So. What do I think of this watch? Well, I must say I love it. It's so cool to look at. It's very, very nice and very vintage, and it's beautiful. It has an awesome case back. It really does. Let's see if I can turn it around so we can see it up close. There we have it. It's such a beautiful watch, and there the beautiful dive helmet again, and it's such a pleasure. The bezel has a beautiful sound to it, very tight, very precise. Again, one would expect nothing less from Oris, but again, there it is. There we are. The hands and markers also have this distinctly vintage look to it. Very pleasing indeed. It has a date at the 6 o'clock. What else can I say? Yeah. Now, it has a leather strap, and the reason for that, well, I'm not quite sure. It gives it a very vintage look, but again, leather is not exactly the best material for diving in salt water, as it tends to ruin it. But it comes in leather, and you can dive with leather if it's protected with grease or with enough oil to saturate it so that the salt water doesn't seep in and destroy it. But I would probably have put another strap on. But there again, I think, to be quite honest, if you buy this watch, you're not buying it to be a diver. As that would be a shame. I mean, it's perfectly capable of diving. I mean, please don't misunderstand me there. But this, if I bought this watch, it would be to wear, because I would be pleased with the Oris quality, and I would be proud of the Cal Bashir heritage that this watch signals, and that would be it. So I would dive with another watch, and I would wear this when I went out with the friends, and yeah, that's it. So this is It's simply a wonderful watch and a fitting tribute to Carl Bashir. This particular watch is number 1647 out of 2000. And I've borrowed it from my good friend Nikolai, who has a shop called St. Nikolai's Watches in Vejle in Denmark, and he's also a watch aficionado. Loves watches, loves quality watch. Obviously, it's his work, and yeah. So thanks, Nikolai, for letting me borrow this watch. If you're ever in Vejle in Denmark, which many of you probably won't be, but for the Danes among you, well, look, pop into St. Nikolai Ur and have a look at what he has. He has it's a small watch shop, but has a very large selection of watches. So give it a shot. You never know. Anyway, with that, I would to round this off. Really, it's a pleasing watch, very nice, very retro, very well made, and it has that awesome commemoration. It's a difficult word for a Dane. It has the commemoration to the to Carl Bashir, which I just find awesome. If I ramble a little bit, it's probably because Carl Bashir is a bit of a hero for me, and especially because the whole race issue for me has always been distasteful, and the thing that people would try to keep a man down because he's black or African American, it's, oh dear, it's horrid, and many people might have given up, but this guy didn't, and so him being a master diver and an African American master diver who not only had to learn to dive and to graduate from this most difficult school, but had to do it being African American and having everybody, look down at him. So he's a personal hero of mine, and or was. Unfortunately, he's dead. But so that's why I'm rambling a bit in this show and tell, and I'm especially pleased with this watch. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my rambles. Very patient if you haven't already gone and clicked off, and I hope that you will listen to my up-and-coming rambles, and if you do, you might like and subscribe. And also I have a Facebook group called Peter's Watch Show and Tell Group, and I would love it if you would join me there and let me know what you think. Contact me, write me, and so on. I love when my viewers do that. It just gives a personal connection to the people out there, which one doesn't have when one goes and checks how many clicks and how many views videos have. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys, and catch you again next time. Bye-bye.